According to the Stoics, these are 7 rules you must avoid. Rule number 1, laziness. The Stoics believed it was our duty to use our time to the best of our ability. Seneca stated that it is not that we have such short time to live, but we waste so much of it. Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of? If I'm going to do what is I was born for, the things I was brought into this world to do, or is this what I was created for? To huddle under the blankets and stay warm. So you were born to feel nice, instead of doing things and experiencing them. Don't you see the plants, the birds, the ants, and spiders and bees going about their individual tasks, putting the world in order as best they can? And you are not willing to do your job as a human being. Why aren't you running to do what your nature demands? You don't love yourself enough, or you would love your nature too, and what it demands of you. How do you not be lazy? Well, according to the Stoics, rule number 1, remove distractions. Rule number 2, at the start of the day, write down your aim. And rule number 3, memento mori. Memento mori is a reminder that we are mortal and the very moments we have are precious, and we need to be present and grateful for the very moments we have. So that's a calendar I use to remind me of my own mortality. Welcome back to The Everyday Stoic. I'm William Mulligan, and today we're going through the 7 behaviours that the Stoics told us to avoid. Behaviour number 2 to be avoided from the Stoics was anger. Seneca wrote a whole book on anger and why anger is such a powerful yet destructive emotion, how it can ruin our lives, others' lives, and the world around us. Oftentimes, the consequences of anger cannot be undone. Once you shatter the glass, it can't be unbroken. Once you inflict pain on someone, it cannot be uninflicted. Marcus Aurelius said, "How much more harmful are the consequences of anger and grief than the circumstances that arouse them in us?" So how do we not get angry? Seneca stated that the greatest remedy for anger is delay. So when you find yourself in a situation where someone has irritated you, it's always good to take a step back and a break from the situation. Remove your emotional attachment to the situation and assess what you can do to best yourself in that situation. So oftentimes it is not the right action to act out in anger, because it only enhances and makes the situation worse and makes the people in a situation react with that same anger, if not more. Behaviour number 3 to be avoided, according to the Stoics, was materialism. The Stoics believed that happiness should come from within. Imagine Diogenes the Cynic in his days, wandering the streets naked, sleeping in a barrel with nothing to his name. He owned and had nothing. He became a famous cynic, very known throughout the world. The story goes that Alexander the Great, the most powerful, most wealthy man at the time, he commanded many great army, many citizens. He had gold beyond his desires. Alexander the Great decided to take a little detour to visit Diogenes because he wanted to see the great Diogenes. He wanted to learn of his wisdom. And he sees Diogenes laying there naked in the sun with his eyes closed. And he stands over Diogenes and he goes, "Behold, Diogenes, I am Alexander the Great." And now Diogenes looks up at him, squinting. Alexander the Great, as a noble gesture, says to Diogenes, "What would you desire? What can I give you? I can give you anything you could possibly desire." Diogenes stared at him and flicked him away and said, "Stand out the way of the sun." The point is that Diogenes had nothing yet desired nothing, so there is nothing that he couldn't have that he desired, because he desired nothing. Whereas Alexander the Great had many great desires, but he always desired more, so he did not have all that he desired. How do you not be materialistic? Well, there is a great exercise that can solve this problem for you. It is called the gratitude exercise, and you can do it anywhere. I used to do it on my walks to work. So you start the exercise thinking of 3 things that you are grateful for. And you start them one by one, imagining the thing that you're grateful for. And you soak it in, you feel the gratitude for this thing. For a few minutes, you think of these things and let those feelings take over you. The gratitude you have for these things. Maybe the gratitude you have for the fresh air around you, for the people in your life, for the pursuit that you're on, whatever it is that you're grateful for. And then the next part of the exercise is to think of 3 things that you are excited for. 3 things that are coming up right now that excite you. So when I was walking to work, I'd think, 1, getting a coffee would excite me. Number 2, seeing the people at work, staff, colleagues, or the people that we work with. And number 3 was actually doing the work. So now these things have filled me with a sense of purpose and excitement, and now I'm ready for the day, and I'm excited for the day. This removes slowly, as you get more gratitude, it removes desire, because desire is just an agreement you make with yourself to be happy only when you get the thing that you want. When I was younger, I had Pokemon cards, and I didn't have the best ones, but I was very happy with my Pokemon cards. I had my nice little collection. But then some kid, won't mention his name, brought his big shiny collection to school. He had Charizard, Blastoise, Pikachu. He had all the best Pokemon cards. And when I seen this, my pile became nothing to me. I became envious of what he had because I was jealous. I wanted this thing that he had, and now the thing that I have had become rubbish. So that's the problem with envy, is we look out to what people have and we think we're deserving of this, and that if we don't have this thing that they also have, then anything less is not enough and it's rubbish. So that's a problem. So the Stoics believed that envy was bad and that we should just be content with the things we have at the moment, because if you're not happy with what you have, you won't be happy with what you get. Now, how do we stop being envious? How do we get rid of this behavior that's so ingrained in many of us? And now with the rise of social media, we follow people out of envy. We look towards people who have better lives than us, and we only follow them because of envy. Our envy is what leads us to look through their pictures and see the things we don't have, which leads to nothing good. So tip number 1, if you follow someone out of envy or jealousy, unfollow them. You shouldn't be following them out of these feelings. You should follow people that bring you entertainment or education or fulfillment and wholeness. How did the Stoics remove envy from their lives? Well, number 1 is to develop self-confidence. If you are confident in yourself, in the things you have, the things you can do, the person you are, then you don't look outside towards other people. You're content with yourself, you're happy with yourself. So developing your confidence comes from doing small acts outside your comfort zone every single day, proving to yourself that you are a confident person and that you are a good person. So you make little challenges for yourself of things you want to do every day. Only little, just outside your comfort zone, unless you dare to go big, but oftentimes people try to go big and fall back into their comfort zone. So you do small little things outside your comfort zone every day and you build who you are. You develop this self-confidence. So the fifth behavior to be avoided, according to the Stoics, was gossiping. The Stoics believed in talking truthfully and avoiding harmful speech. Seneca explained that gossiping is a sort of social pollution that harms both the speaker and the listener. Marcus Aurelius says that if we see someone doing wrong and we know they are doing wrong, can't we show them how to do right? So the idea is that if you're aware someone is doing wrong and you are gossiping about them, you're ridiculing them, can't you see that you yourself can also be guilty of these same crimes? Have you not been guilty of these same crimes? And number 3, if you're aware that they're making a mistake or acting foolishly and you are aware of this, then is it not your duty to show them how to do it right? Can you not use this as a chance to teach them how to do better. It's not foolish of you to allow them to be foolish when you know the right action. Which brings me to some of the best advice I've ever heard, which was, be heard talking good behind people's backs. So when people aren't there, talk good behind their backs. Say good things they've done, compliment their character, and if you can't do this, just don't talk about them. It makes you look great. If you're talking behind someone's back about how good they are, then it shows how trustworthy and great your character is. But if you're talking bad about someone behind their back, all that shows when I hear someone talking bad about someone else, I think, if I was not here, wouldn't they just be doing the same about me? So that's why I don't like gossiping, because I think if someone's gossiping about someone else, as soon as I leave the room, they'll probably gossip about me. So be heard talking good behind people's back. It's an amazing characteristic when I hear of people that talk good about other people. Behaviour number 6 to be avoided, according to the Stoics, was selfishness. The Stoics taught of the 4 virtues: courage, wisdom, temperance, and above all, justice. Why was justice above all? Well, if you act on the 3 other virtues without doing it for the sake of others, then it's a selfish act, and you're not helping the greater good, as the Stoics believed in this concept of sympatheia, that we're all combined in this universe, and that we should do good for one another as this is doing good for ourselves. Like I explained, it's a community that we're all a part of. So, justice is most important. Don't be selfish. Being empathetic can help you stop being selfish when you understand that other people are suffering, have needs just as complex as yours, have lives just as complex as yours. When you understand this, you can be empathetic. You can put yourself in their shoes, because everyone's struggling. Everyone at some point needs a handout or a help or a little bit of kindness. So when you be selfish, you withhold this from them. You're holding that kind part of yourself away from the world, which is very needed, especially now. We need that from you all. So be empathetic. That's how you stop being selfish. The 7th behaviour to be avoided, according to the Stoics, was worrying about things outside of your control. So there's a concept of the dichotomy of control, and taught by Epictetus, he says that some things are within your control and some things are not. Within our control are our opinion, our motivation, our desire, aversion, and in a word, whatever is of our own doing. Not within our control are our health, our wealth, our reputation, our office, and in a word, whatever is not of our own doing. This understanding that you can only control this small portion of things, you can give all your attention and energy to these things rather than focusing on the externals like people, the weather, the world around you. You can't control these things, so don't worry about them too much. Just worry about the things you can control, focus on them, put all your energy into that. It makes life a lot more simple and gives you a lot more control and confidence. So there's another understanding when you worry about things, is that the past does not exist and the future does not exist. That's just a memory, and that's just imaginary actually. And where you want to be is right in the middle, in the present. Because then you're not worrying about this whole spectrum here. You actually just can worry, if you want, about this here. So be present. The way I do that, like I say, is memento mori. If you look at that calendar there, is the black is the past and the white is the future. And the only thing that exists is that little unmarked square just after the black one, which is this present moment that next week will be filled out and gone. But when you be present, you stop worrying about all these things in the past, in the future, and you can just be present in the here and now. So how do you fix? Well, dichotomy of control, be present and right. So how do you stop worrying? Well, there's 3 things. Dichotomy of control, be present, memento mori, and number 3, write. Write down your feelings. I remember reading something where someone said they couldn't write because they didn't know what to write. There was too much thoughts going on. They didn't know what to write even. They didn't even know what to make of all this noise. And the person said to them, if there is so much noise going on in your head that you don't even know how to get it down, that is exactly why you need to get it down. You need to get these things out there, write them down. Once they're on a piece of paper, they make a lot more sense, because in your head, you know, you make a mountain out of a molehill. This little molehill becomes a huge challenge in your head because it's swirling around with loads of other things, and it becomes some crazy idea in your head through your imagination. So write them down, start writing down your thoughts. You never have to show anyone, doesn't have to be fancy, just write them down. You can make better sense of them and realize that some things aren't as bad as they are up here. So I've said memento mori a lot in this video, and that is because it is something the Stoics said and it has brought such gratitude and presence to my life. But also, the sponsor of the video is the Memento Mori life calendar, which is your life there, and you fill out each week in a black square. It comes with the magnetic frames and the leather straps and the poster in a nice tube. You can get 10% off with code Memento Mori. But the reason I'm saying it is because I want to say thank you to the people that have been supporting the channel. That is whether it's the YouTube members, which are here, which I'm very thankful for, the subscribers, the people that have been buying the poster or the t-shirt. When people join in the community, I find it amazing. When I go on a post and see someone asks a question, maybe about Stoicism or about mental health, and I'm thinking about the answer, and then I look down and see that someone else has already given a very thought out answer. It's incredible. When I go into the comments and learn something about Stoicism, I find it amazing, and it's really cool that there is a Stoic community out there that we can all join in and teach each other about Stoicism, how it helps us, how it can help you. It's incredible. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that's joined in the community, but I hope the posters are helping you, the people that have got the posters. I would like to know how it's helping you, so comment below what is helping you. So, I do this every video. It's become like a thing. I enjoy seeing the comments now. So, if you made it this far into the video, 0.1% of people that seen the video commented at the end of the video to let me know that they watched it. So that's quite incredible, 0.1%. So if you're part of that 0.1%, comment, amor fati. Amor fati is Latin for the love of one's fate. So when bad times happen, good times happen, and it comes to you from life, you love it, because you can't really do anything else because it's already happened. It can hurt, you can suffer for a while, it can be very painful, but you can also love it because you can learn something from it, you can gain something from it, and to not do that is just to complain at what life has handed you. So if you made it this far, then comment amor fati. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram at TheEverydayStoic, at MulliganBrothers. Subscribe, comment, like, and have a great day. Thank you for watching.